Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Canto 6, Chapter 7, verses 2 to 12. So verse 12 is on the board, so I'll read verses 2, and then when I get to 12, then we'll have the Sanskrit. This is verses 2 to 8. Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, once upon a time, the king of heaven, Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the three worlds, transgressed the law of Vedic etiquette. Seated on his throne, he was surrounded by the Maruts, Vasus, Rujas, Adityas, Ribus, Vishwadevas, Sadyas, Ashini Kumaras, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, and by great saintly persons. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Patagas, birds, and Udagas, snakes. All of them were offering Indra their respects and services, and the Apsaras and Gandharvas were dancing and singing with very sweet musical instruments. Over Indra's head was a white umbrella as effulgent as the full moon, fanned by yak-tail whisks and served with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife Sachi Devi, who occupied half the throne, when the great sage Brihaspati appeared in that assembly. Brihaspati, the best of sages, was a spiritual master of Indra and the demigods, and was respected by the demigods and demons alike. Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master, nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Indra did nothing to show him respect. Brihaspati knew everything that would happen in the future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by his material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he did not do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence and my pride in my material opulences. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he entered this assembly, and thus I have insulted him. So now we'll go to verse 12. Ko gridyet pandito lakshmi, ko gridyet pandito lakshmi, tipishta patet api, yayaham asuram bhavam, nitodya viputeshvara. Chant. Kogite pandito lakshmi, pipishta patir api, yayaham asram nitodya viputeshvara. Kogite pandito lakshmi, Vishtapa pater api, yayahama suram bhavam, nitodya viputeshvara. Vaishnavis? Kogite pandito lakshmi, Yipishtapa patir api, yayaham asram bhavam, Nitorya Vibhudeshwara. Kaha, who, greed yet, would accept. Panditaha, a learned man. Lakshmim, opulences. Chipishtapater api. Although I am the king of the demigods. Yaya, by which. Aham, I. Asuram, demoniac. Bhavam, mentality. Nitaha, carried to. Adya, now. Vibudha, of the demigods, who are in the mode of goodness. Ishraha, the king. Translation. Although I am the king of the demigods, who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Natanam Nachanam Nasundarin Bhavitam Vajagari Shikamaye. O my Lord, I do not aspire for material opulence or wealth, nor do I want a great number of followers to accept me as their leader, nor do I want a very beautiful wife to please me. Mama Janmani Janmani Share Bhavatad Bhakti Rahai Tukitwe. I do not even want liberation. All I want, life after life, is to be a faithful servant of your Lordship. According to the laws of nature, when one is extremely opulent, one becomes degraded. And this is true both individually and collectively. The demigods are situated in the mode of goodness, but sometimes even one who is situated in such an exalted position as King Indra, king of all the demigods, falls down because of material opulence. We are now actually seeing this in America. The entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. It's stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31. Nate vidusartakatim hi Vishnum. Persons who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, both individually and collectively, they try to enjoy so-called material comforts, and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such society are less than fourth class. They are the unwanted population known as Varna Sankara. And as stated in Bhagavad-Gita, an increase of Varna Sankara population creates a hellish society. This is a society in which Americans now find themselves. Fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America, and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first-class character, men who completely refrain from meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. If the American people are serious about curbing the degraded criminal life of their nation, they must take to the Krishna consciousness movement and try to create the kind of human society advised in Bhagavad-Gita. Chaturvanyamaya shistam guna karma vipagasha. They must divide their society into first-class men, second-class men, third-class men, and fourth-class men. Since they are now creating only men who are less than fourth class, how can they avoid the dangers of a criminal society? Long, long ago, Lord Indra regretted his disrespect to his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Similarly, it is advised the American people regret their mistaken advancement in civilization. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they will be happy, and theirs will be an ideal nation to lead the entire world. Mukam karati vachalam bhangam langhate girim yakipam tamaham vande shigurum janatarinam Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tassamai Shri Gurave Namaha. So Prabhupada says in the purport here that Americans are now regretting the criminality of American society. So it's very interesting. By reading this purport, I could understand which year Srila Prabhupada wrote this purport. The year was 1975. And Srila Prabhupada got a magazine article from the Chicago newspaper, and the title was Crime, Why, and What to Do About It. So here Prabhupada says at the end of the purport, they should take advice from the spiritual master. So Prabhupada, he gave his advice to the police department of Chicago. One man came to interview Prabhupada about his ideas, how to avoid crime. So Prabhupada gave his advice. So we are suggesting, because they are unclean in heart, therefore there's crime. So the article said, why is there crime? Prabhupada said, because they're unclean in heart. Therefore, what to do? Then he answered the question, what to do? If they chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam, their consciousness will change. So Prabhupada had the answers for the article, crime, why, and what to do. And then after that, he was begging for a facility from the Chicago Police Department. He said, we are like a poor medical man with small practice, but if you give facility, we can open a big hospital. So he was telling the police department, he was saying, you give us some nice facility. And later on, he met the mayor of Evanston, which was a very high-class suburb where the temple was situated. It was near Northwestern University. That's where I went to college, Northwestern University. So he went to the mayor, and he had seen a beautiful building. He said, you please give us this building for a temple, and we will solve your crime problem. And the mayor said, oh, yeah, well, excuse me, but that building is meant for our city hall. It's for our government. We're going to move in very soon. And Prabhupada said, well, we could probably do a better job, But the man was very polite, but he said, no, we actually need it for our government. But Prabhupada, he just went to the top and he asked for the highest thing, like shooting the rhinoceros, as they said. So that was Srila Prabhupada. So Indra, he is showing disrespect to his guru, and therefore he will fall down. The demons are going to defeat the demigods, as they have many times. And so Indra was a devotee. Why did he make this mistake? Devotees make mistakes, and devotees fall down. We see that in our ISKCON movement. So why does this happen even amongst devotees, that we get some power, we get some wealth, and we become proud of our position? So His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, just before he left his body, he gave a class. And he said in his class, it's one of his last words. So when a man is dying, you want to hear their last words. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he said, so many of us have been pioneers. Pioneers make sacrifices for future generations, but ultimately they establish the foundation. And so we came to India in 1972 with Srila Prabhupada, and we were living in very austere conditions. But because Prabhupada was with us, we didn't care. We wanted to make this temple in Vrindavan, the temple in Mayapur, and the temple in Bombay. And so we tolerated. So we have a lot. The special mercy is that there's so much we did is in our spiritual bank account. Some of us are devotees over 40 years, some 30 years, 20 years. So we have a nice spiritual bank account full of spiritual credits. And so many devotees, they build up their bank account, but then when it's time to cash in to their bank account and make spiritual advancement, then Maya finds a way to trick them out of it. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj says, we come to a crossroads in our spiritual life, and we have to choose the path of comfort. Okay, maybe I can make a lot of money now, or the choose of surrender, selflessness, selfishness or selflessness. So we fall down because we become proud. Yes, I'm a great devotee. This pride it comes before the fall. So Indra, he had this pride. Another problem is aparad, or offense. So Indra also had this problem. He had committed an offense to his spiritual master. So two problems for Indra, pride and offense. And the third problem that devotees have is a lack of quality association. Here, Indra, he was surrounded by people praising him, giving him all the honor, giving him. So if you're a devotee for a long time, sometimes you get a position like that and everyone praises you and gives you a lot of honor. So that can be a cause of fall down, that you don't have association of people who chastise you and give you the sauce, like Prabhupada did. He chastised me. Sometimes he praised me. Sometimes he chastised me because I was pujari in Calcutta. And one time he said, why is the ghee lamp so dirty? Because we had these big tall ghee lamps because the light was always going out. And he said, who has done this? So we don't escape. And Prabhupada gives us the sauce. And other times he would praise us. Oh, who has decorated the deity so beautifully? So if you don't have no one is chastising Indra. His guru came in, he's the only one who could chastise Indra. And we will see how he chastised. He disappeared. So if we're surrounded by people who just praise us, then that could be a cause of fall down. We don't try to improve ourselves. And then the fourth cause of fall down is a lack of understanding of some of the dynamics of advancement in spiritual life. That we should know there is a process from Shraddha to Prema, and we go through these different levels of spiritual life. And there comes a level which is called Anartha Nivritti. And this level actually comes and you sometimes have doubts. You sometimes lose your faith. People criticize you. You are tested. So we should know that this will happen. It will happen to everyone. Don't think it won't happen to you, as Prabhupada used to say. It will happen to all of us. And so Indra, three of the four of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's criteria he had for fall down, and he did fall down. So Indra is showing the symptoms of fall down, that he is committing offense to his spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada, what does he advise? He advises that we follow the Varnashram Dharma system and the purport. Now this Varnashram is a culture of respect. It is not a dominating culture where you're exploited. Of course, that could be a symptom of asuric Varnashram, but Daiva Varnashram, which Prabhupada wanted to establish, that is a culture of respect. And Indra was not following this culture, and therefore he fell down. So this Varnashram will only succeed if bhakti is there, if love is there, if love for Krishna is there. There is a verse in Bhagavatam, Atapumbi jijashesta Varnashama vibhagasha Sarastita Shatarmasha Sangsitir Hari Toshanam, that, oh, best of the Brahmanas, one can attain perfection by performing your prescribed duties in Varnashram if the purpose is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without bhakti, Varnashram becomes asuric Varnashram. So, Prabhupada explains 4 principles, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. For the Vaishyas and Grihastas, artha, making money, that is most important. So what this means is that the Grihastas must give charity and support the other 3 ashrams. All 3 ashrams must engage in charity, as Gita says in 18th chapter. Acts of charity, penance, and sacrifice are not to be given up. They purify even the great souls. So why charity? Because purification of heart. So Prabhupada was begging charity from the police department, and they didn't give, and he was begging charity from the mayor of the city. He was not aware of the Varnashram culture, so he did not give the city hall for Srila Prabhupada. So what kind of charity do the Brahmins give? The Brahmins give knowledge. So Brahmana Grihastas, Prabhupada says in a purport, should be satisfied with a life of adhyapan, yajan, being learned scholars, teaching others the Vedas, doing deity worship, and teaching others how to worship the Lord. Now, what charity do the Kshatriyas give? They give land to the Vaishyas. They give food to the people when there is need. The Kshatriyas perform huge sacrifices, and they give all kinds of wealth and things in charity in those sacrifices. What sort of charity do the Vaishyas give? The Vaishyas give money and also the products, their milk products and other things. And the Shudras give their bodies in labor. So all of the four Varnas they have to give in charity. But now we do not have this in the West. We have Ugra karma. Everybody is engaged in horrible factories and difficult work. I was so surprised to learn, even in India this has come. I mean, of course, factories are there, but not just factories. But it used to be when I was living in America that 9 to 5, you work at 9 in the morning until 5 at night, and then your work is finished. But now I was talking to someone from Delhi. They said, no, now we have to work 12, 13 hours every day. That is the standard. I couldn't believe it. America, too, is the standard now, too, that people, because there are no jobs, so those who have a job, they're made to work double time, 1.5 times. So this Ugra karma is here, even in India. Prabhupada said that factory is another name for hell. So one of my godbrothers, Bhajahari, he was talking to Srila Prabhupada. He said, you know, Prabhupada, I used to work in a factory, and I almost had a nervous breakdown because I was working in this factory. Prabhupada said, yes, because in your last life you were all Brahmins, and now we are here together again. So yes, our human form of life is not meant to be a slave, to sell ourselves just for some money. And Prabhupada wanted this Daiva Varnashram. So what does this mean? It means the Varnas and Ashrams are interdependent, and everything is based on Sangsiddhi or Haritoshanam to please Krishna. There is a beautiful verse in Canto 4, Chapter 21, verse 25 about Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj said, my dear citizens, for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute your duties properly in Varnashram, and always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your hearts. So 2 things, do your duties in Varnashram and think of Krishna at the same time. By doing so, you will protect your own interests, and you will give mercy on your king for his welfare after his death. Now, who cares about the president? Who cares about the king? That in those days, Varnashram was based on love. Everything was based on love, culture of respect. The citizens loved the king loved the citizens. The king would do everything, just like Lord Ram. He banished his wife just because somebody criticized her. So they would do anything for the citizens, and the citizens would do anything for the king. And that's how it was when Srila Prabhupada was here. Because we love Srila Prabhupada, because he gave us a culture based on love, a culture based on respect. We would do anything for Prabhupada. We would work 24 hours. We wouldn't sleep. And Prabhupada would do the same for us. Jai Gonitai, Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Radhisham. So Prabhupada, he sacrificed. He only slept 2 hours. He got up at midnight, 1 o'clock, and translated these books just for us to get the benefit. And we also sacrificed for Prabhupada. We did marathons, years and years of marathons. We slept on the floor for 18 years. We didn't care. It was fun because it was for Srila Prabhupada and for Krishna. So Varnashram Varnashram, which is based on Krishna consciousness, is based on love. So at the creation, the Lord created this Varnashram society. The Brahmanas came from the head of the Lord, from the face. The Kshatriyas came from the arms, the Vaishyas from the belly, and the Shudras from the legs. So just like the arms, they depend on the eyes, the brain, so the Kshatriyas depend on the Brahmins. So Prithu, he was begging blessings from the Brahmanas to rule his kingdom. So the Brahmanas, they're meant to guide the society, but they don't want any power. The power, let the Kshatriyas have the power. Kshatriyas want power, they can have it. The Brahmanas just are happy studying and doing their service for Krishna. So with the eyes we can see. If someone attacks us and we're blind, how can we protect ourselves? How will the legs, how will the Shudras know where to go without the eyes? So the Brahmanas, they must guide the society. So the king, he has to protect the citizens from danger and give employment and give them jobs, give them employment in Varnashram. Now in America, there is a problem, as Prabhupada said here. It's even worse now than when Prabhupada was here. 50 million people in America are living on food stamps. That means 50 million people don't have money for food in America, in the USA. Now I think it's up to 54 million. My son was living like that, now he got a job, but most, very big percentage of the people don't have money. It's going now, it's going down, American society, because they didn't listen to Prabhupada. So the life of Varnashram is Krishna consciousness. If Krishna is there, then it is Daiva Varnashram. So if the Kshatriya simply tries to enjoy his position, takes taxes and doesn't give charity and doesn't care for the citizens, then everything will be finished. And Prabhupada, I was talking to Rameshwar last year, and he spent a whole month with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was telling him many, many things. And one thing he told him was that your America will be finished when there is unemployment, when there are no jobs. And now I heard that some of the biggest stores, the shops, they're closing. Walmart is one of the biggest shops. They're closing 200 shops in America because there's no middle class anymore. People don't have money to buy things, or else they do everything on internet. So that's only one. Macy's is another. So many very famous stores in America are now closing. So it's happening. It's happening what Prabhupada said here. So